saved my eyes. But I spend my life chasing them now.
Right. Although if you can get them non-prescription, you can, go to Dollarama and buy a whole bunch of them. Then you can like change with every outfit.
Well, actually, Stacy, I have 2 or 3 of them, and I chase them all over the place. And I bought them online.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're live, so that's how we started off live in here.
Yeah. we were quiet. We had to start somewhere.
Had to help.
All right, so welcome everybody to, it is a happy Friday, July the 12th here, to be on the cloud. So I guess we will start off with going around like usual, is we'll go around, introduce ourselves. And I posted a question out there on Bookkeeper's Corner today, and we can just, maybe we'll just use that question today because I didn't think ahead really. And it was, who is your favorite Disney character? So there I asked to post it with a GIF. So here we'll have to just say who our favorite Disney character is, and we don't have to say why if we don't want to. So I am Tanya Hiltz from Cloud Business Services, previously Cloud Bookkeeping Services, and Tanya's Bookkeepers Bootcamp. And my favorite Disney character, I have to say, is Princess Aurora from Sleeping Beauty. And I just absolutely love that movie. I've watched it. I know every single line in the movie, I probably got the lines in the song wrong because I do that. I like to make up my own lyrics without knowing that or without realizing I do. But I just, I love Princess Aurora. So, all right, Jessica, you can go next.
Hi, Jessica Fox, Dandara Fox on Facebook from Florida Virtual Bookkeeper. Oh man, my favorite Disney character kind of changes with my mood, time of year, the season, what's going on. So lately, I've really been relating to Hey Hey from Moana. For those that don't know, Hey Hey is this like kooky, clumsy rooster. And I've had some Hey Hey moments this week. But in general, I tend to like more of the stronger female leads, not so much the princess in distress, but the newer, stronger characters. But I'm trying to think when I go to Disney who I get excited about seeing, but I'm usually just so sick of the lines and the heat that there's nobody that I want to bother standing in line to see.
Well, you have a Baby Yoda, do you not? Or you did a picture of Baby Yoda, right?
Yes, that's a good point.
There we go. See,
Baby Yoda.
and Yoda is now Disney, so there we go.
Okay, we have a winner.
Awesome. All right, Stacey, you're next. And by the way, I'm just going counterclockwise here. So
I'm Stacey Stanley Young from Stanley Young Business Strategies, located in the heart of Canada. Who is my favorite Disney character? Today it's got to be Scrooge McDuck. I want to be able to swim in a sea of gold. He was also one of my dad's favorite characters. And last October, we were actually down in Florida in Disney World. And Scrooge McDuck happened to walk past. And I was really excited to be able to see him because my dad would have loved to have been there. So it has a bit of sentimental value too.
Awesome.
That and the swimming in gold.
You know what? I'd love to swim in gold too, but you're right. It looks like so much fun. Yep, absolutely. All right, Lynn, you're next.
That's hard because, I like all the Disney movies. When the kids were young, we could play them over and over and over again. I'll go with Thumper, only because I have a porcelain Thumper from Bambi.
I love Thumper.
Yeah. I don't know why. That was one of those things I still have from my childhood.
Because Thumper's a cute, troublemaking bunny rabbit.
Okay. Maybe that's why.
A walk. I mean, yeah. No, yeah, I love Thumper. Thumper's so cute.
Yeah.
That's so cute to have one that I love that you have it from your childhood.
Oh, he's only about inch and a half tall.
Well, that's awesome. Everything from my childhood ended up being, I don't even know where it is. It's all gone. And unfortunately, my mother's passed and my grandmother's passed. So somewhere along the lines, it's like nobody kept anything.
Yeah.
I used to have a Colonel, was it Cleghorn Leghorn? I called him Colonel Leghorn because I didn't that big chicken from Looney Tunes. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't have much because we were military, so moved a lot. So there's not much from the childhood.
So that's why you've got something that was small, because it's easy to pack up and move, right?
Probably.
Awesome. All right, Kathy, you're next.
I'm Kathy Badry, a CSB Creative Business Solutions out of Edmonton, Alberta. And when it comes to Disney, my kid is 27. So I kind of look back at all the Disney movies that we watched, and I'm not positive that any of those are my favorite, so I have to go back even farther. I like Goofy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like Goofy. Just cause.
Goofy. You know what? So I'm going to take this and I'll share this in the post. That I don't. Do you watch America's Got Talent? You've never watched it? Okay. Carol's nodding her head. I think. I don't know. She knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an act, you are going to love it, Kathy. He actually comes on and he sings a song, but he's an impressionist, and he sings Cake by the Ocean, but he sings them to all Disney characters or cartoon characters, and he's got a Goofy in there. I will find it through the hour and I will share it. It is hilarious. And his Goofy is spot on. His face and like the way he, does, like, yeah. He does Goofy spot on. Anyway, Carol, you're next.
Carol Kostachuk of Carol and Call Office Assistants, and don't have a lot of Disneyland experience. We never went as children. I took my daughter when my mom passed away, but one of the movies that I did like and enjoyed with her when she was young was Ariel, or no, what was that called?
Yeah, The Little Mermaid is Ariel.
Little Mermaid, that's what it was. Yeah. And I can really relate to Dora, that fish.
Dory. Just keep swimming. Yeah.
But yeah, the one time I did actually go to Disneyland with my brother, and for me, it was just to be able to see Mickey and Minnie Mouse. That was sort of because I didn't know any others. But yeah, mind you, my favorite character that sits on my desk, I know it's not Disneyland, but it's...
Oh, I love Charlie Brown.
And he's my USB guy.
Oh, see, and I have a real life Snoopy. And she actually looked like Snoopy when we brought her home. She was black and white. She was not brown. And now she's black and white and brown. And my husband and my sister used to think I was crazy when I'm like, she's turning brown, because they looked at her every day and they're like, no, she's always had that. And I'm like, no, she hasn't. Look at the pictures when we brought her home. She was black and white. So I had to actually pull that out and show that she was actually changing. So
Wow.
yeah, beagles are born black. The tricolor beagles are born black and white, and then they change, and then the brown comes out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So there, she kept her white, but she lost lots of her black. Her black became brown. Now she's got a little bit of black. It's the black that I love. My husband liked the white, and I guess neither of us really loves the brown, but we love her, so that's okay. Awesome. Stacy got the fly. Sorry for those people who are just joining us. Stacy's been chasing a fly all afternoon.
Yeah. Actually, my husband got the fly. That was what the high five was a moment ago.
Got it. Got it.
Driving us batty.
That was perfect. So just to toss it out there for those Canadians, I'm not sure if those Canadians that are in with CPB Canada, I'm not sure if you saw today, but nominations are open for, anybody who you think would be a good job on the board of director. We have 4 positions coming up this year. Go ahead. We've got till the 20th. To get your nominations in. So please, if you know somebody who has got energy, and I know, Lynn, if there's anything else that you're thinking, energy.
Or anybody that would like to volunteer.
Yep, energy, passion, anybody else. Because Lynn and I are both on the board. So you'll get to come and play with us, when we have our meetings. But absolutely, that's open. So yeah, please take a look out for those. And yeah, what were we talking about before that I said we were talking about when we came on? Oh yeah, talking about pricing. So
Yes.
we should never undervalue ourselves. Absolutely not. And, you know, Carol actually on the call just today actually went and, you know, took a price. She fought against it, I guess, against her inner, I guess. And so, yeah, tell us about that, Carol. And then tell us what your coach said, because that really stood out for me when you talked about that.
What's that?
About what your coach said about the saying the price.
Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about that now?
Yeah. If you would like, if you would rather wait, we can talk about something else first.
No. So I ended up meeting this lady through a gym that I was going to, and we just connected through there, and you know, sort of, she was a business coach, mentoring and stuff. So I ended up attending a luncheon thing that she was doing in North Van. She says, oh, you know, do you want to come with me? It'd be nice to have a few people there that I know. And I said, yeah, sure. So anyway, she says, oh, can I use you as a sample, you know, to do a demonstration while I'm there? I'm like, sure. Don't ever say you're going to do something when you don't know the person very well. Anyways, and it was to do with pricing. So at that time, I was charging $35 an hour. She said, okay, so we need to change that mindset for you. And I'm like, okay. So she said, stand up. So I stood. She goes, and how much do you charge? I said, $35 an hour. She goes, okay. So every time I'm going to ask you, I need you to up it by $5. I went, okay, sure. Yeah. Oh, so how much do you charge? $40 an hour. How much do you charge? $50 an hour. And she kept going. She pushed me. I was just about to lose my cookies when she pushed me all the way past $75 an hour. And I'm just like, she says like this, say it. So anyways, I did. I felt like my face in front of all these women. I had no idea who they were. There was one other person I knew there, and she was also from the gym. Anyway, so then when she got past that, she goes, okay. So then she said to me, you know, quietly, she goes, okay, now go back to 50. She goes, oh, so how much do you charge? I went, she goes, say it. I'm like, okay, $50 an hour. She goes, now, isn't that easy? I'm like, yeah, okay. She goes, good. I don't want to ever hear you say 35 again.
Exactly. So when I started working with Carol and I told her I wanted her to get up to 75, yeah, she wasn't as shocked with that because she's like, she told me that story. She's like, I already hit that type of thing, right? So that's awesome.
But it's still, I mean, even now, I mean, if I'm doing an hourly thing and I put that number out there, I'm expecting somebody to go, I mean, there are people that do that, don't get me wrong, but I'm comfortable saying it. And if somebody says, oh, that's too much, fine.
Errol, you didn't anchor your price.
What?
You didn't anchor your price. We're going to have this conversation.
No.
You and I hang out with the same mark.
No. But no, I know. Shh. But I don't actually do hourly anymore. And I just went through this with a client not too long ago where I gave him my 3 package price. And he goes, okay, I'm not sure. I said, oh, did you need me to repeat those numbers? He goes, no. I'm trying to figure out how that works out to hourly. I said, I don't do hourly. They're package prices. This is everything that we'll do as per the brochure and blah, 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 blah. He goes, oh.
And that's the hard part, right?
Then,
nobody is used to that process, especially in Canada, especially Western Canada, right?
And he went away and he came back and he literally, he said, you know what? I just don't understand it. He goes, but is there any way you can sharpen your pencil? I said, nope. Not nope, but you know, I was like, no, I said, I can't explain to you other than to show you the value in what we do. And if we do your first cleanup of 3 months and you don't see the value in it, then we can part ways. So he went with it. paid the essentials price. I did January, February, March. Now we're up to doing April, May, and June. And I just finally had the conversation with him on Monday and got him from the essentials to my full price.
Right on.
Or full package. He didn't want to go premium because, well, interestingly, because he said, all that stuff on your list are the things that my accountant will do. The accountant that still does everything on foolscap paper.
My Lord.
Oh yeah. He sent me the opening balances for this new takeover in literally those little blue line sheets that have the little green line here and the little blue line there.
Still using ledger pads.
Carol,
Ooh.
they're called ledger pads.
Whatever. Anyways, when I did have the conversation with him when I was trying to understand something, I said, and any future stuff that I get from you must be in Excel or there will be a surcharge for it. And he goes, well, there wasn't very much there. I says, yeah, but it's also the 21st century, sir. I don't want to have to try and decipher your writing and your numbers, albeit very nice writing, but the numbers, you know, little scripty this and scripty that, you know, 5 could be a 3. Yeah. So I don't know. There's going to be extra charge for that if you're going to keep doing that. 21st century.
Hilarious.
Now, when your client said, oh, that's everything my accountant does.
Oh yeah, that's going to be interesting because when it comes to year end, there's no way half that stuff that's on my list of things that I provide that he is going to do.
Well, then my question is, okay, but how much does your accountant charge? Like,
you know what? I didn't even bother getting into that conversation with him because he's so new. I thought, okay, fine. We'll do. He ended up going with the full package, which is fine because if he didn't go with that and he only went with the essentials, I probably wouldn't have kept him.
okay.
Because just at the essentials level, I don't actually do payroll, which on there he has payroll through ADP, which is fine for now. And I said, you know, the biggest thing is your payroll journal for ADP is sucking up the difference in the two costs that will take care of that.
Yeah.
So,
But
So
clearly,
you priced out your bookkeeping and your payroll in as one package?
no,
Okay.
because I'm not doing his payroll. I'm only doing the journal entry. At the full package, it includes a payroll journals entry.
Okay.
Because I've already gone through the painstaking effort of creating it through the setup that I charged him for, right? So
Yep.
in that regard, I'm not charging him extra, but if he wants to take it off ADP and have us do it, then I will have to quote for payroll services.
Good job.
but
So one of the things
clearly,
that
Carol,
I've
if his accountant was going to do it all for him, why did he come looking for a bookkeeper? He knew before he started that he needed a bookkeeper.
Oh, if he listened to the guy that he bought the franchise from, the guy did it himself. He spent 8 hours every Saturday once a month and took it all off the bank statement.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
And I wonder why the old guy didn't want to pass on the books in no way, shape, or form. That's why he's paying me to do the new setup from scratch
Mhm.
with opening balances.
Yeah.
but technically it's a new company anyway.
And he's taking over the franchise.
But
Taking over the franchise is not the same as buying the other guy's company.
Yeah.
Well, but he is because he's taking over the existing contracts that weren't finished yet. Like all the customers of jobs that weren't finished, he took over everything. I mean,
So he
essentially, it's not.
bought the shares out? Right? Like, I mean, there's a difference. Like, it's an independent company that's being sold, right? Or are you just buying the goodwill and buying the assets and starting your own company? Because in that case, he has no right to look at the previous guy's books.
Well, it would have been easier because the list that we have to start with, I mean, I don't have a fixed assets list. It's a number. I don't have an inventory list. It's a number. I mean, the customer list we've worked through and I've had to recreate all the customers. It's QBO. It would have been like, anyways, whatever.
But still in principle, right?
In principle, yeah.
Yeah.
But Kathy, you're right. It makes a huge difference whether they're actually purchasing the shares or if they're just buying the assets. in all kinds of areas, right? Around provincial sales tax in BC and all kinds of, there's a big difference there.
Exactly. And I mean, it's the same as if you have a proprietorship and you choose to incorporate.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's you still have to start a new set of books.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah. No,
So-
but I just went through an acquisition with another client last year. And when they took over, they just continued doing the books.
Yeah.
We didn't
They
change
bought the
anything.
business.
I mean, changed ownership and changed blah, 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 and got a new, well, they did take over and assumed the business number.
Yeah.
So none of that changed, which I was grateful because I would have charged a whole lot more if I had to do a whole new set of books. But I guess it just depends. Anyways, that's where it's at. And I'm happy with what I got. So now I just got to wait for him to bring me the paperwork.
Well, good for you for pushing that because you are worth it, Carol.
Absolutely.
You are worth it. We are all worth it. Diane is here to tell you she's been telling people longer than I've been telling people they're worth it.
Yeah.
Diane started telling people we were worth it, damn it.
But it's when you come from that background of people assuming you're just a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
It's just data entry, or you're not an accountant, you can't charge that much.
Yeah.
And I know it's what's in my head, but when you come from that background of having so much of that told to you all your life, or I had a guy told me, well, you can't charge that much because you don't work in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Doesn't
And
matter.
that's an interesting one, right? Because I read an article recently that has to do with, so this is looking at people's salaries, right? But with the number of people who are now working from home, should they anticipate a decrease in their hourly rate because their expenses are not as high? Because
saw
they're
that.
living remotely, yada, 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 right? And I'm like,
No.
same quality of work being done.
I'll be
What does
charging
it
more if you want.
matter where
Yeah.
I'm doing the work from?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right?
And the
And that's the same
cloud-based makes a
principle
big
for us.
difference. But yeah, no, that was kind of.
So the mentality behind that, of course, is, whether or not your prices are reflective of your costs. So it's like, what's a good example of that? Oh, I've got a perfect one, right? Because I'm going through this right now. I need to go get new glasses. I can order them online at Clear Lens or whatever it's called, right? For
Clearly.
cheap, because they don't have any costs making them, right? It's pennies to make them or I can go to the retail store that buys, or that has to buy it, plus pays rent, plus pays staff, plus pays, and that's where you get a difference in price, right? Yeah. It's like when you go to offshore bookkeeping in India, who pays wages of $2.10 an hour, and compared to Canada, right? And that's, I guess, where that question is coming from. But it's a little ridiculous when we're talking about a short time under, some special circumstances around COVID and stuff like. And
Well, they're looking more at the long term. If people continue to work from home, should they be paid the same hourly rate?
Yeah, but we're just a service. We don't have a product involved in that, right? So it's not the same thing, in my opinion, right?
No. But I think it takes a special dedicated person to be able to work from home, because it definitely, you have to have the minutia to discipline yourself to stay sitting and working for that 6 or 7 hours or 5 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
I've actually started, from when I did the conference, I closed my door, and now whenever I'm in here, I actually close my door. Just because then it tells people on that other side of that door, don't come in and bug me. Because I have one that comes in and bugs me all the time.
Only one other one.
A couple of
Just
quick
take 5
things.
minutes. Can you help me? It'll only take 5 minutes.
Sure. A couple of
The
quick
door
things.
worked.
And then we'll acknowledge our 2-for-1 deal that we got down there.
2 for 1.
Carol, Sandra actually put in the comments that she's learning ledgers in Trifold Bookkeepers Fundamentals course, and she can help you, she says. With the smiley face, of course.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's why I told you,
Anyway.
Carol. That's why I said that.
Well, we got
30 years ago when I started bookkeeping, that's how I started doing bookkeeping.
And that's how every bookkeeper should start, in
My
Diane's
very-
Know your
opinion.
T's.
My very first job, I came out of computer accounting college and I show up at my first job and I'm like, I'm going to use ACPAC and this is all going to be good.
Knock it off. Whoop,
Big,
whoop.
big manufacturing company. They show up and they're like, here's your desk. Here's your typewriter to type up the checks because we're pretty advanced. And here is your ledger book. And oh, by the way, we have 3 intercompany accounts. Best education ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
If you want to say you know accounting, you better make sure you can do it in a ledger book.
Yeah.
You better.
I
That's
agree.
Three of
exactly
them,
right,
don't forget.
Stacy.
That should be the
Don't-
defining
don't-
difference
yeah,
between
yeah.
that should be the defining difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree, Matthew.
And
If
which
you
Better
one?
learn.
understand it, then you actually can account for what is going on. You're not just entering stuff in the books.
Hey,
Yeah.
You should not use a calculator either.
I
yeah, 30
actually have-
well, I don't know about calculator thing. I'd have to still use a calculator.
I can't add 2 and 2 without a calculator.
Let me go get my tablets. We'll start scribing it in there too while we're at it. Jeez.
But I
Or
tell
what
you,
about the
30
abacus?
30 years I'm doing this and I still will fall back to T accounts when I
Yeah.
need to.
And you know what?
Me
I
too.
actually have a little bookkeeping test that I do if I'm hiring an accountant. Now, granted, with this CPB, they've got all the extra testing stuff you can do. But if I'm just hiring somebody and I'm, here's your resume and what does that mean? Here's my little bookkeeping test. And it literally is 9 transactions in T squares. Give me a trial balance.
Yep.
Good
And
Good
they're,
job.
they're
Yep.
very simple. They go through, all the different areas other than payroll. But yeah, if you don't know where they're supposed to go on that GL accounts,
debit and your credit.
I
I
had a lady in here one time, she was sitting at that, well, it used to be a desk, it's now chairs there. And I went back working, all of a sudden I was like, oh, she's still here. I forgot.
So,
And I was like, oh, how's it going over there? She's like, oh, I can't figure out why I can't get it to balance. I'm like, well, I got another meeting, I got to take it away. But what it was she actually used to work in banking. So she had everything
Backwards.
backwards.
Oh, the back. Yeah.
So, and she couldn't balance. So
backwards.
hence she didn't get the job. But anyways.
I've got similar thing with the QBO. If they come in, because I hire without experience, I train the front end and then let them move backwards. But of course, they know what they can do and what they can't do. I do not let them touch anything. Back in the ledgers, no journal entries. Sandra, will be able to once Diane's done with her. She can be more helpful to me. But I do the same thing with QBO. I'm like, great, QBO, because most people are like, oh, sure. I've worked on it for 5 minutes, or I'm desktop, but I've worked on it hosted. So I'm like, okay, let's ask some questions about, payroll, tax center, things that nobody else would know. But anyway, first off, welcome. So Diane came in late and we got a 2-for-1 with our friends from Southern US, California. Did California and, Florida just merge without us knowing?
No,
the 2 cesspools of the United States
it's
currently.
it's too hot in Florida, so I decided to come across the country to come over here to Bombay.
Well, it's not like you can go
pretty
anywhere
sure
else. All
we
the borders are closed.
So welcome, guys, Matt and Linda. I'm so glad that you guys are, because you don't.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Good to see you
Awesome.
guys.
You too, I know. Missed the
And is
conference.
that Matt's office? Is that Parkway?
Yes, Parkway.
Nice,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Usually there's a green screen with alligators crawling all over.
I
but
know. I'm like that's a different background than we've seen before. So
It's
It's the real background.
I mean, I'll do maybe a video later because I haven't done one since we really moved in, but I love our office.
It's
I mean,
beautiful.
it's great. We've got a beautiful conference room that the whole intention it always was. It's all about having people come in. We feel that the office is more of a marketing expense than it is a business expense.
right.
Because I mean, yeah, it's great when you have meetings here, you get to keep people's attention here. But we always wanted to have more events here. I wanted to do pitch competitions here and different events, which is going to be tougher now, I think.
Yes.
Find the people who are willing to jump in to do it sooner. So, but we
Right.
won't give up. Now we just got to keep working on the video room.
Awesome.
That distantly.
How are you guys doing in Ontario? Who's here? Just Tanya. Are you melting?
I It's a good thing I've been so busy because I'm not leaving the house. I'm still catching up. Of course, I spent 15 hours doing my website last weekend. So that was last weekend, redoing the website, which some of you have seen. I was very, very proud of that. And I was in the right creative mood and avoiding
Gotta
bookkeeping
be.
work. Or accounting work, shall we say. But I've got a pool. Now, mind you,
Oh,
that
good.
said, I have not been in the pool this week, but my husband did. He said it was 87, and that's too hot.
That's like my pool.
When
It's my
it's
hot
It's
tub.
almost a hot
out
tub.
there and the pool is 87, which I don't know what that relates into.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah. Mine's
Wait.
actually 87 Fahrenheit.
Wait, 87. I thought 24 was like 88 degrees Fahrenheit, I thought.
See, we're up.
Well,
You know what? We're just so easy going up here. Half the time I talk in Celsius, half I'm in Fahrenheit. I just like so. I
We're,
think
we're pretty
87
simple. It's just it's hot or it's cold.
Yeah. Good one, Dan.
We have not. Rod's been in. We've had the pool open for about a month and a half. The pool heater has not been on once. Not
Crazy.
once. It's been that hot here.
It's crazy.
But no, it's too hot to swim. It's too hot to swim.
And
Yeah,
Jessica,
and
how's
it's
the weather where you are?
humidity. It's
Very
the
hot.
humidity.
Actually, it's
Oh,
cooling down a little now.
It's supposed to be like super hot. Like
It was enough to send Linda running to
It's
the other,
only
the other side of
102
the
today,
country.
so that's
Yeah.
progress.
it's like
102.
106 heat index.
102 today in Florida, in Jessica, right? So
That's the heat index, so that's what it feels like. But it's actually an improvement. It was 108 yesterday.
So the heat index for you Canadians, that's a wind chill factor.
Ah, okay.
Got it.
Or a humidity factor.
Yeah, we
Right,
have a
because,
humidity factor.
Like in Ontario right now, it's probably 30 or 31 degrees, whatever that is for you guys. I don't know. But they'll say with the humidity, it feels like 40, right? Because
Double it and add 32. Get your Fahrenheit.
You know, I
okay,
just
so
love
double
where I live. Have I
40
mentioned
and
that?
add
My God, it's
32.
beautiful.
So 110, 112 is what it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My grandfather used to tell me that the conversion rate, that or if you're going the other way, deduct 32 and then cut in half.
I said that to somebody once before, and they're like, "That's not correct. That's not
Yeah,
exactly."
it is.
Tiffany?
It's not exactly, but it'll get you
Like,
close
but it's
enough.
pretty damn. It's close enough, right? Like,
It's not. We're not
Yeah,
talking
it's not
accounting,
exact
right?
science, but
We're not talking accounting.
We don't have to balance. We're good.
the difference is
on a balance
immaterial.
sheet.
Hot or
know-
cold?
That's right. Yeah, I like that one. It's immaterial.
You
Yeah.
know the answer
Exactly.
when asked the question, what is the number? The accountant will look at you and go, well, what number do you want it to be?
To be.
Yes.
Right?
That is why I have the domain cookyourbooks.com.
Yeah.
Kill Hector.
Matthew, what are you holding?
I am
He's a box of toys.
Playing with.
creating.
That
So
could be a loaded question for anybody who knows him.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, at first I thought it was a little sort of what's
it's
the
going to be a projector mount.
okay. At first I thought it
Okay.
was a juice box, but it was a little bit bigger than a juice box. I'm like, oh, he's got a wine box. Why didn't I think of that?
Oh,
So-
we actually have a little kegerator here in the office. It's a what's the brand?
I
of
saw
it?
that. I thought it
Yeah,
was a coffee pot. But
It's
beer.
this thing I
That's
found
coffee
on like
pot.
Hopsy. It's called Hopsy, and they made it special where if you bought a couple bottles of the different beers, they'll give you the machine for free. So me being the frugal person I am, I did that, got the machine, then got a couple bottles of beer, and then canceled the service. So then I wait till I got the next really good deal where they do like 4-packs. So we've got like, there's smaller kegs, right? But it's not like we're drinking all the time. But so now we
Only
have
on days at
Cook
end
them
of wine.
books.
we have beer and wine here. We've got, I always wanted to have like a little mini bar here for when clients, it's an adulting thing, right? It's not that we actually have to drink, but if you wanted to, you could.
Yeah.
Um,
I was actually just looking at a co-working space this week because I wanted to rent the space, and I was looking on their website and it's like, oh yeah, in our lounge, and they have a keg and a few other things that you can.
yeah, you have to make
But
sure you have non-alcoholic too to be always be respectful.
course.
But like I want to have a little. We did a fridge, and when we found this place, I'm really good at finding really good deals on things. I think you would agree.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Like I basically furnished the entire office for about $2,000. The conference table we got, I mean, the thing's amazing. It's a big 14-foot table that it took all of us, 4 of us, to take up each half. Got it for free. The thing's amazing.
Nice.
So I always find these good deals on things, and just wanted to get like a little hidden fridge into like a bar top. So it's respectful, it's hidden away. But when we do have like meetings here, we'd have the Bookkeepers Association come over, and boy, them ladies could drink, I'm telling you. But it just make it a fun environment. The more bodies we have coming, I know this is so counterproductive to write today, but the more bodies we would have coming in and engaging, if it's a fun place, that leads to more business, is my belief. So,
Right.
And this is going to be part of our video room that I've been setting up at my house and playing with it since we haven't had it here. That again, the intention was not only for us to do video stuff like video podcast or whatever, but other people in the community, maybe they can't afford to do that stuff. So if we got a room, they can come in and they're just getting started. Hey, that's a future client.
Absolutely. That is smart marketing.
Plus they get to buy toys.
That you can write off.
That's the
We
real
can write
reason.
it off.
Yeah.
So when you tell everybody else they're not allowed to write off the toys, well, how come you can? Well, because I'm setting it up this way.
Do as they say, not as I do.
Exactly.
Oh, I
That's what
told that to
taught
my
me.
kids their entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom, that was my mom's favorite phrase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still is
Yeah.
my dad's.
It was constantly coming out of my mouth. Yeah.
So it's funny you say with the alcohol in the fridge, because Sandra happens to be listening, because she's already kind of commented on the post. So it's going to be hilarious if she's still listening, and if not, when she listens later, because we talked about that, having wine Wednesdays and having wine. However, the wine didn't actually make it into the fridge until we all started working from home. So now there's a full fridge of wine.
One of the
And
places
nobody there to drink it but you.
yeah. One of the places, one of my former jobs, on Fridays, we would all stop at about 3:00 in the afternoon, and it was beer Fridays. Now, our drinking and driving laws are pretty severe. And so I think everybody only partaked in maybe a half a glass, maybe one beer, because, or we walked home on Fridays, like we knew that that was it. But that was the thing. And, you know, it brought the staff all together. We were in film, so it can be very intensive. And if we just knew Fridays at 3:00, it was, let's close everything up. We're just going to sit there and partake in a glass of wine and actually talk to our coworkers and maybe interact with people that we don't normally interact with.
Well, and that's nice. That helps build a nice cohesive team. I mean,
so there was a post that said something like, creating company culture is not about having a keg in the office. It's about hiring the employees you want to hang around with to drink after work. Right? So if like having those things here, I mean, they've been here forever, but if we create those little environment things, our conference table, I found this silly little ping pong net you can stretch out, and it clamps right onto our conference table, so we can play ping pong across the conference table. And I mean, it's organic ways just to have fun. I mean, if we're going to work for a living, right? This is literally, it's what we all do most of the time. Why don't we have some fun with it too?
you spend more waking time with the people that you work with than anybody else. And you're right. We had, so first off, Sandra says she's coming back to work on Wednesday.
Every Wednesday. Every
Wednesday. But we have, and I ordered in these little, like, you know, your squeeze, your stress balls. And I found them online, and they were so cute, and they had all these funny faces on them. So I ordered them in, and Sandra had 3, and Leanne had 3, and I had 3. I don't know where they all are now. All I know is I have none left. But it was meant to be like, if you want to try and get somebody's attention or whatever, like toss it over at them. And next thing you know, I kind of toss it up and over the desk. It would land there when, you know, Leanne's on the phone or something. I think she's kept them, and she's probably waiting to kind of like throw them all back at me one after, you know, the other.
The next Wednesday when she's in the office.
But it's stuff like that. You're right, Matthew, that you have to, like, yeah.
So
you've got to be happy with that.
So maybe that's a really good question. Now, Matthew, and pardon my
Linda,
my Dory type memory here, but
we call it Gator.
you obviously have a big enough business where you have an office and you have this fairly established area to do that. So it's,
Well, so actually, let me tell you a secret on that.
Well, Linda doesn't work with, well, you guys do and don't work together, right? Like you more collaborate together, but Linda, you've got your own practice too, though,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I've got my own office. This is just about the size of this room I'm in right now. That's it. Mine's in my house.
so, but my question goes, how do you establish or that fun factor for small teams where we're not in an office? Like I have an office, we're in my home, so my employees do come here, but how do I establish that fun factor without it being huge or big?
So first, I want to touch base on the idea with the office, because where there's a will, there's a way. The reason we ended up with this office here is a friend of ours, Sean, who is also a client. We were trying to help him establish a co-working environment where the goal or the dream was that we would have accounting, marketing, legal, all these things where a small business entity could come in and they could get all their questions and everything answered. And we literally had an SBA office in the place, everything else. And we were sharing literally one big long office. It's when we first started to talk. And we were spending $900 or something like that on rent. And it was super squeezed in. It wasn't going to work. And things unfortunately fell apart with that environment. So we very quickly, and we had to find a different place to be. We started to look, we got a bigger space like this because we wanted to bring people with us. So Sean was supposed to be taking one portion of it. We still have our developer friend has one of the offices, and the rent is a lot more. Now I'm sharing all this because since all of that, Sean's no longer here. Parkway is the one that has the lease, right? And what you will find is sometimes, even if you start with just a little bit of expense, when you need to, you find a way. And we would like to rent out another portion of this so we don't have quite as much expense. But even if it's not that, if we have just people coming in, like we've always told everybody, friends of Parkway, if you're ever in the area, you need an office space, you just let me know. We literally have an office, a computer, everything set up for you.
That's my office.
And it's Linda's office and it works. The thing that we had a hard time with is I didn't understand how could we potentially create the culture, like the collaboration and culture, if everybody was in different locations. And I know it can be done, and I know it is done, but I gotta say, like COVID has reminded me, having gone from working in other businesses, going to work all the time, then starting with Parkway and having to work from home when my business partner worked it from his home, that took some getting used to, like everybody was talking about. I had to train myself, and my OCD meant I had to clean my house perfectly before I could start working or I'd be done. Then we get in an office. I had to train myself to go back to the office because it feels like a waste of time getting in the car and driving somewhere. And when I could be just doing this or that. And I miss coming in the office and being able to just joke around and have some fun. I am become more productive with that because I get the healthy breaks in the day to joke and do this or do that, in comparison to feel alone in my own home place because I live alone with just two dogs. And so I like having that capability of us all interacting closely together. To get back to your real question though, like to find ways to interact or collaborate. One of the best ones when Juliet did the bingo. How cool was that? Like that
And
online bingo.
Juliet did bowling as well too. They've got bowling and
it's little things like that. We're always trying to do more things. They like last year, right before QuickBooks Connect, they all got together and they threw me a surprise birthday party, and we went to Dave and Buster's. It was amazing. It was so much fun. So it's finding little like reasons outside of maybe even just the office to connect. If there's family, doing a dinner and making sure spouses are invited and coming, because that is like, if this is family, extended family has to be part of family, right? We have to take care of that too. And if we do that, that's where the culture, I think, starts.
You know what? And I agree. And that's like, with here, what we've done, because there's just the three of us. We tried to grow to five and it didn't work. And we're just going to stay the three of us and then one subcontractor. But we work together because we choose to. We're set up, Sandra and Leanne, like once they knew everything, it's like, okay, we trust you guys can work from home, but we chose to work together because we enjoy each other's company. So, there's a lot of work. And so we've got a, really big workload for the three of us, sometimes more so than others. Especially tax seasons, it's really difficult. But what we try to do is, again, like the balls. And by the way, Sandra says she has them all. So I'm like, I better be really, really nice to her now, because otherwise 12 balls are going to come flying at me. But
So she's trying to juggle all the balls, is what she's saying, all at the same time.
Well, either that or maybe she'll get like a Nerf gun and go like poo, 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 or something like one right after the other. Who knows? I better duck and run. But we've got birthdays. You know what? We actually take a few minutes, and when it's somebody's birthday, except for Leanne, whose birthday is next month. So if we're not working back together, that'll be missed. And then I think Sanders right after. But anyway, what we do is, let's go out and get, some cake or some cupcakes and just sit down and, have that for lunch and chat, whatever. A couple times I take us out for lunch after tax season. I try to find something exciting. Again, go out together. I've been always wanted to have, we just haven't had it yet. This would have been the perfect summer, but it won't be again. But have everybody over. We've got a pool and a barbecue. Have the families over, because you're right, we all get along.
Mhm.
And the families, we actually all did vacation together. So that's another way to get people to, we cruise together. But you're right, you've got to include the families. And,
Mhm.
so there's different things that you can do. It's harder with small groups, but you're right, like Juliet's bingo. But it's all about your attitude. If you treat them like family and you treat with respect, like, they're my team, and not one of them, I may have more knowledge on one hand, but not one of them. Like when we talk about and make decisions, I will ask them for their opinion. Now, yes, I ultimately have the ultimate decision, but 9 times out of 10, unless there's something I really, really feel strongly about, they're an equal part of the team as far as I'm concerned.
So, I'm going to rephrase my question, or phrase or ask another question.
Please.
The big things I'm good with, my colleague and I, or my full-time person and I, we actually have like our birthdays one right after the other. So we have a tendency of going to the spa every year on our birthday, which is great. It's give me examples of the little things that I can do. Somebody mentioned bingo. I want someone to tell me more about that bingo, because it sounds like something I might be able to do remotely. Because that's the other thing too.
Yeah, that we're all working remote. Yeah.
Right. It's hard to throw a rubber ball at people when they're not in the room.
So the bingo it was online bingo where you go to the site and you can get like different cards, and you keep pushing a button and it calls out the different bingo numbers, and you just kind of go through, and whoever gets bingo first. But the one that I also think would be great was Catch a Killer, that we were trying to do at the beginning of all this COVID stuff.
I saw it. I didn't participate, but I saw it. That looked like so much
learned
fun.
it's really hard. No, we learned it's really hard to do it, and then they kept making changes to the PPP all the time, which consumed our lives and made it very, very tough. And that's my shallow U.S. perspective, because you guys have had just as much craziness up north. So, it made it tough. But so one example of one of the things I always try to do while we're working. Mary is the glue that holds us together. I'm super, super grateful to have her. She's just absolutely amazing.
She's a great lady.
When Mike and I start talking strategic, everybody loves to learn. Everybody loves to feel like they're a part of it, part of something, right? So for us, it's the three of us here. When we start to go through and talk like workflow design, I will always do my best to actually bring her in on it. I understand when I'm making that decision, she is not able to spend that time doing other tasks. So if you want to look at it from a financial side, I am paying her to come hang out with us. But I don't care about that, because I know that she loves to learn and she picks things up very quickly. So we have in our conference room, the whole wall, I turned into a big whiteboard wall. And we can go and brainstorm right onto it. Heck, you can play tic-tac-toe on the thing if you want, right? But you can brainstorm off of it, and we make sure to try to explain and use those as some of the learning opportunities, and we're getting to just share ideas. One of the things we asked her to do this last year was we asked her to come up with some kind of a new service, product, something that Parkway could offer, a new revenue stream, something that she really was interested in and she could take ownership of. And I think we've all hopefully had a boss. I hope to be like the bosses who've molded me and gave me the insight to gave me the opportunity to reach just a little bit further. And when you do that with employees, they tend to be extremely loyal and long lasting. So does that help more, like the whiteboard concept help?
Oh, I've taken notes, which is all great.
And what we've done is like through COVID is we actually get together every morning from 9 until 9:30. Now, and we're not always talking. So it's like, okay, let's kind of, pull our day together, whatever, but it's keeping us connected. And you know what? We're not just doing that because during the day we would talk about our lives and whatever. So you know what? Sometimes we're straight business because there's a lot to cover, but most of the time we're actually, no, we'll spend that 15 minutes of chit chat, before we get into it. Just, we need to feel that we're still connected. And, so sometimes there's like nothing to do and we'll just talk for 15 minutes, complain about our husbands or about, what our animals are going through, like just whatever. It's just, again, just keeping connected. Yeah. We all have dogs. Both Sandra and I are, have had dogs that have been, sick recently. So talk about that. Or again, complaining about the husbands because now we're all working from home and they don't understand it. Or like, again, just whatever, just the supportiveness to each other or, just whichever. So again, it helps to keep that connected. So again, it's not really all that fun. Bye, Jessica. So not necessarily all that fun really, but like it's relaxing. And again, it's team building. So.
And it helps with the isolation too.
That's exactly it. I don't think we started it right away. Like we only meant to kind of do it not every day. And then we've just, started like, again, you know what, like, forget it. Let's just do it, add it in there. It's important because the isolation.
Well, and in my, in my case, I have a full-time person, I have a part-time person, and during the height of when everybody should be home and everybody can do their job at home, right? In the height of it, the full-time person stayed at home. And, but she's actually come to the point where she goes, I like coming into work because I find it stressful working from home, but she is a single person. And my part-time person is a single person. And so they're like, we just want to come in and see people. We're fine if it's your family, which is the craziness of now having to educate the kids at home and all of that good stuff. They're just like, we're just so glad that it's busy and there's people and we could talk to somebody other than our own.
Seriously. The reason, so I'm the only one that has been coming into the office, and I come in here at least minimum once a week, but I've been trying to do twice a week. Part of it is because I was given a money tree as a gift, and it is a symbol to me that when the leaves were dying off and COVID was going on, man, I come in to keep that thing like growing as much as I can. It's a mental thing, and you know what? It's proving true. So keep on growing, baby. Keep it. But I know that the only way to get everybody back in the office when they feel comfortable, and that is a major part of it. So because we're in a building, it's a shared bathroom. I will not tell Mary that she has to come back here. I will not do it. But what I will do is I'm going to lead by example by coming in here and in offering and like wanting to try to have people come in, but I want them to do it when they're comfortable with it. Because we can work both places.
Right. And of course we have a very different, we're on day 8 of no new COVID cases, right?
Wow.
So we're in a very,
I think we're on minute 1 of new COVID cases.
Yeah.
We don't even want to talk about those numbers from down there. Like, oh my gosh.
Right. And that's in our entire province, right? Not our community, that's our entire province. And so people are going outside more because they're feeling, which is going to bite us when we get too complacent at some point. But so I have no problem having them come in and talking to people and they feel comfortable here. Again, it's our home bathroom, right?
So that's different. Like, even that's really fine because, when you're working with people that close, you feel safe.
Yeah.
know the people that work 3 doors to over, right? And
Just I hope people are intelligent enough not to go if they feel sick. But the problem
I
is
know
you could
people
be,
aren't intelligent
but you,
enough.
yeah, I know. I laugh because I'm on the plane, and when you're waiting for the plane, everybody's like this, and then you get on the plane, and literally everybody's like scouring the whole area. And then I got on the plane, and then as soon as the doors are open, everybody's jammed in the aisle like they always did. So it's like, where'd the
What
social
was the point?
distancing go?
The ironic thing was the only flight you've ever been on where you didn't hear people coughing.
Nobody coughed on this flight. Nobody coughed. 2 flights, 7 hours, right, to get here. Nobody coughed.
Okay.
And when is the last time you flew without somebody coughing? You feel your hair moving behind. Nobody coughed. Because if you coughed, you
I
imagine what
could
you'd be like
I
a
couldn't
piranha.
fly at all most of the year because I cough all the time. 90% of the time it's allergies.
Yes.
So I said I am not even going out until my allergies cleared up during this because I'm like, I'm gonna get stoned. Like they're just gonna
Open the exit hatch.
I
Throw
have
'em
one
out.
yoga student that has asthma, and she told us it's okay to tell the students, and we're only allowed to have 9 people. She started to cough, and the whole room cleared out. And I'm like, oh, what was it? Was it Mary? It's okay. She has asthma. And she said I could tell you that. And they're like, oh, okay. And then they all went back in the room.
what that yeah, that's exactly yeah.
We started this panel today with what is your favorite Disney character? You remember Monsters Inc? What was the code when they got a sock? 29
Human
2316.
yeah.
What's the code when the Monsters Inc got a sock? 2319, and everybody got on top of that monster and you had to decaminate. That's what it feels like. You go outside and you cough and it's like 2319 and you have to
Especially when
jump
you have
on
the
them.
mask on and you sneeze.
Yeah,
You're
right?
sneezing in your own face. It's kind of weird.
But there's a silver lining to everything. There's also certain times when it's kind of beneficial. You just see somebody that are getting a little close to your bubble. You're just like,
Like I did in the car yesterday to you.
so it can go both ways that way, right? Like, there's that
Awesome.
special sale on something. There's only 1 pack of New York steaks left, and you're going that way. You're like,
We're all gonna be out doing that now, you know.
you can see me doing it too. That's the worst part.
You can do that.
That's hilarious. Well, and I don't want people near me simply because that's all. Who knows if I'm out there and somebody does get too close, even though I'm not going out without my mask, I might just start doing that. Just
Yeah.
see, you're too close. You're too close.
And then there's the ones that think they can get closer because they have a mask on.
Yeah.
Like,
They people
one
had
part
double
right
masks
here,
on.
and there's people with masks on, and they're walking right behind me. It's like
Back off.
you be 6 feet away.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't.
yeah,
used to
we're
be-
really lucky right now because I mean, right now again, we now have 0 cases. We're down to 0, but the cottage country is coming up. Like we're only 2 hours outside of Toronto. We've built a bubble around ourselves. Summer cottagers, the cottagers are going to be coming up, and so they've actually just in our region, and I'm actually glad they did it. They actually imposed as of I think it starts today that you legally have to wear a mask in public right now until this is over. And I love that they did that because when we did it, and then people coming in, that's going to bring it in here, which is now going to spread it because somebody might be asymptomatic, right?
Yeah.
They might not realize it.
Well, they opened all the bars in Florida, and all the young kids went to the bars, and it's got inflated the numbers too.
Remember how we were saying we know people are smart enough to not do something? Says the person flying from Florida to California to come visit. Like, bring you with you.
Well,
I don't
I
have it.
have to.
They live in my house.
I just have to say really quickly, my daughter said something today to me, and Elizabeth, was it over Yosemite, right? Yellowstone National Park, I think it was. It was over one of the national parks. Sorry, Yosemite? It was Yosemite. I guess a ranger was on an interview and somebody asked him why there were no bear-proof garbage, like garbage bins. And he just said, you would be surprised at how many bears are smarter than a large number of people. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You've seen the squirrel video
Not
of the
people,
squirrel, right?
tourists. Sorry?
You guys, so the guy who made the glitter bomb for the glitter packages, he made another video on YouTube, and it was because of COVID. He was bored. He thought he would do some bird watching. So he put a bird feeder out, and then what ended up happening is the squirrels came and ate his food. He's like, well, that's not right. I'm going to buy a better one that's supposed to be squirrel proof. Goes through squirrels. Like, you'll have to watch the whole thing. It's amazing. It's entertaining. it goes to show how intelligent the squirrels were. He ended up making a like what's that, American Ninja Warrior like course for these squirrels that they had to go through to get to the
birdseed.
prize of all of the stuff. And like,
And they were amazingly smart. They went
Yeah.
through the first obstacle and learned, and then managed to go through the
awesome.
first, and they went to the next one. It was awesome.
they
So in
didn't put
other
a
words,
fake
the
squirrel
squirrels were
girl.
smarter than him too then.
So yeah,
That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna have, you know what, you're gonna have to post that now because I don't even know what to
I'll
like.
find
What
it.
do we Google? Glitter
Squirrel,
bombs, squirrel glitter.
a warrior ninja squirrel, maybe.
Okay, we'll try to find
I'll
it.
find it and
know.
I'll post it. But
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
it was good to see everybody. Thank
Nice to
you.
see
Yes,
you
for
and yeah,
guys.
we've gone over, so thank you so much. I'm so glad that you guys came by. And again, it's 2 for 1. Like, that's awesome. We don't get that very often, not online anyway. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks again so
Bye.
much, everyone, for joining us. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.